the series finale, the culmination of 7 years and 5 seasons of adventures.
How did it do?
Well, it certainly was better than these other voyages. Setting expectations pretty low, aren't we? Hey, Commander Fennec here, and it's been a long road getting from there to here. But let's not get distracted with nostalgia and lightly schmaltzy ending. Spoiler alert! Shields up! I was concerned this would be a Burnham-heavy episode because for a finale, you kinda need this to be a group effort. Thankfully, although she had a lion's share of the story, there was still enough for a few others to contribute. But I have to admit, for a feature-length episode, it felt somewhat laggy. Somewhat! There were so many endings, I thought I was mistakenly watching The Return of the King.
Jumping to the end already, Commander.
I felt the payoff wasn't as satisfying as last season's, although it was better than Season 3's ending. Anything would be better than Season 3's ending. You're setting the bar really low, aren't you, Commander? Okay, let's go for specifics then. The prize, the Progenitor's tech, I felt undermined the achievements of the Progenitors themselves. You mean because it wasn't actually their tech and it was something left behind by other beings who actually created the Progenitors? Exactly, that's an extra layer I feel which wasn't needed. And also, it doesn't actually make sense. Yeah, the tech is designed to create life all over the universe, and yet the Progenitors only created one single sentient species? At least, the Progenitors used the tech as it was designed and override the natural evolution of countless planets to force their own shape on the galaxy. Although, I'm surprised no one seems to be pissed off about that.
Why would they be pissed off?
Because that isn't how life would have naturally appeared on those planets. Who knows what life forms were denied existence because of the Progenitors' hubris?
Considering our tools have a tendency to disintegrate after a few years, how could something survive and still be working billions and billions of years later?
You've hit the nail on the head there, Gigi. It couldn't. Just like it couldn't orbit around 2 black holes for all that time either. And why, in the TNG episode that introduced the Progenitors, the only trace of their existence were markers in DNA. To me, the whole thing felt disappointingly messy. And the fact they could have been pre-Progenitors ad infinitum. Well, only as far as the birth of the universe. Well, unless we're mistaken and our universe has no beginning and was always there. We're getting a tad sidetracked here. Moving away from made-up speculation, I thought there was an over-reliance on special effects here, primarily with a depiction of what's beyond the portal. And, of course, a bit of tension between Discovery and the Breen Dreadnought. What about how Stamets and his team came up with a radical new spore drive concept and went from theory to practical application in only 2 minutes?
It looked cool though.
Yeah, it did, but that just shows how the writers have no idea how long it takes to do actual stuff. Aside from tapping their fingers on a keyboard, which obviously takes no time at all.
Okay, you didn't like the tech nor the CGI, but
I mostly liked how they were displayed on the screen. I didn't like the execution. Actually, there was one moment that didn't work at all. The swarm of Breen fighter ships that came out of the Dreadnought and began chasing Discovery, they all looked like someone copied one ship and pasted it across the screen, and then they were dealt with so easily, you kind of wonder what was the point of them.
Okay, so what about the character development then?
Okay, let's start with Maul, our very unlikely antagonist for this season. She doesn't trust Starfleet, and therefore doesn't trust Burnham. She trusts the Breen because they too want Log back. But then when she meets Burnham in the portal, who's being chased by a Breen, what does Maul do? She kills the Breen. Because that makes sense. You've got to admit the thing they hinted at since the start, that the tech could be used to resuscitate someone, turned out to not be possible. That's a good, right? Yeah, that was a satisfying development, and Lag stayed dead. But the rest? Dr. Culbert's been grappling with meaning since he lent his body during the Trill ceremony. That inner conflict isn't actually resolved. Only now, he's suddenly able to access some knowledge from that Trill's memory just at the right time. His crisis of faith is sidestepped and is used as a convenient solution to a newly created problem.
Okay, but what about the fact McCluck was wondering last week how the puny Federation could keep the tech safe from such a powerful species as the Breen? Didn't you like how that was resolved?
Yes, I did, although I suspected they might be forced to do that considering the tech's power. It really was the only way to keep it safe from aggressive species. Truth be told, that's what the scientists who found it first should have done with it in the first place.
I missed Detmer and Owasekun.
I know, right? They left in episode 5 with the ISS Enterprise, and we never saw them again. I was sort of expecting them to show up and save the day or something, but no. Nothing.
We did see them at the very end, though. Only for a few seconds during a montage, mind.
Oh, don't get me started on the time jump.
I have to admit, I enjoyed seeing Burnham and Book, older, more chilled, still in love. After all the stress they'd been through over the years, it was nice seeing them so relaxed.
Yeah, okay, it was nice, but what about the others? Why don't we see what happened to them? It wasn't all about Burnham, you know. Or at least it shouldn't have been. But no, we've no idea what happened to the rest. And you know what pulls all my wattles? They devote the last segment of the show to make sure a short trek episode is reinserted into the chronology.
It was the best short trek of the bunch.
I'm not disputing that, but by now, considering all the changes to the show over the years, didn't those who knew of that short episode resign themselves to accepting it happened in another dimension or something? Was it really more important to re-canonify it than seeing what the other characters did with their lives?
They even had to downgrade the ship so it looked like it did when it was in the 23rd century. And somehow, they knew Discovery would meet someone named Kraft. How did they even know that?
I'd say Dr. Kovich knew.
So does that mean temporal travel is back on the menu or something? It raises far too many unnecessary questions. All that time should have been better spent saying a proper goodbye to the whole gang.
Same with revealing who Kovich really is. Yeah, okay, it was fun, but it served little purpose beyond fan service.
And it raises a lot of questions about the temporal war, I thought.
And now, it's likely we won't get answers to these questions.
There is one good thing, though. It highlighted what Star Trek truly is about. That no matter how different we may be, we should all learn to live together in peace, as we are really all part of the same family. This is a message that was important 60 years ago, and is still as important today. It's what made the TNG episode The Chase so good, as by the end, we saw the Romulans were pondering the implication of their possible joint heritage with humans. I don't feel they emphasized that enough in this story.
Especially since there wasn't even a cooling of regression with the brain. They just got sent 20 years away, which also doesn't make sense. With advanced propulsion technology this era of Star Trek should have.
So yeah, the ending felt like a bit of a letdown. Perhaps mainly because they had to shoehorn a series finale on a season that was unexpectedly cancelled. There's a strong emotional element to a show ending which can cloud one's judgment, but if I'm really honest with myself, this episode was unsatisfying on too many levels. So I'm awarding life itself 1.5 paws. And that's it. No more Discovery. We've reached the end of the line. Share your thoughts in the comments. Live long, and may the Force be with you.